Hello there. From behind the yellow line, this is Trammin episode 10. My name is Kirk, and as always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Christian Rainwater.
What's up, everybody? Man, it's early.
It is early. It is before 11. Our big thunder topic of the week is bad experiences at Disneyland. You ready?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard Trammin, a Disneyland podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. As a courtesy to other passengers, we ask that there be no eating, drinking, or smoking on board. In just a few moments, we will begin our trip into the Disneyland Resort news and topic of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, this tram is ready to depart. Driver, you are clear.
Welcome back to Trammin, everyone. We are at 10 episodes.
Let's go. That I got that one right.
Yeah, but it's a little weird because we did record 10 and we have that lost episode.
Yeah.
But so it's always going to be like, well, it's kind of 10 or a kind of
11, kind of 10. Yeah.
kind of 100.
It's like we're the new iPhone.
Oh man, I think that's a way bigger mess than us. Oh no, but we did go Roman numerals for
the Star Wars
so
episode.
iPhone X, anyone?
Hey, surprisingly, that last episode had really good numbers. If you look on Buzzsprout.
Yeah, drinking, man.
Yeah,
people,
I think that's what it is.
people.
It was like that, and the Star Wars episode both did.
Yeah,
very well.
yeah. Star Wars was timely, and then
Yeah.
we just keep putting the word Disneyland in the titles. But
The
hey,
SEO, man.
yeah, we're gonna do that again this week. But thanks everyone for listening, as always. So, how was your last week, Rain?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, like I think I've said it every single week, and I think I've tweeted it every single week. I still miss Disneyland.
Yeah, like I've always been excited to record,
Yeah.
but like now, even like right after we record, or like I hear like the rough cut, I'm like, man, I want to record the next episode.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about Disneyland.
I've gotten so excited that I'm already like considering planning a Disney World trip. Yeah.
Don't do it yet, because
Hey.
like how many times can you get canceled on? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know.
yeah. So on that note, let's get into the news. Disneyland started taking reservations for July 1st, or like selling tickets where you can choose July 1st as the date,
Ooh,
but they're not. I don't think it's like those reserved tickets.
it seems like it's just like part of the system, right? Like it's like
So the system, what it does is it's like, what day do you want to go?
Yeah.
And we'll price it accordingly based off of peak value, extra value.
Now that they do that.
Yeah. So I think that's just what it is. But I mean, it sounds like
What about hotel reservations? Have they,
that's probably the same.
Yeah.
That I didn't see. You know, some of this news just comes from people noticing things. It's not really an
because when I
article.
went on my vacation club portal, it let me make a reservation. Just I think the same day,
July 1st.
July 1st. Anytime after that, I can make a reservation right now.
Yeah. I don't know if that means anything because California is rumored to be July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we're not going to get political, but they keep saying like, you know, it's for science reasons, not political. It's like, I don't know, man. We're kind of running out of money,
Yeah.
and as a state, not like people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Could be though.
That's a nice transition to our first news. Disney Springs open. Oh no, a second news topic, I guess, right?
Well, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, whatever. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
Disney Springs officially is open. So it's really
So
interesting.
is it everything or
No.
still just the third party restaurants
It's
like we mentioned before?
I think it might just be the third, and not all third party restaurants. There are some that are still closed.
It's like they have the choice to be
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, they have the option now. Like I saw, Sprinkles is still closed.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
I have no idea. Seems like you can, be pretty sanitary with just a cupcake like that.
Yeah, you know, it could just be that Sprinkles doesn't care
Maybe
if they're open other places.
it's all that Beverly Hills money.
Yeah. So, and I don't. Well, I've talked about Sprinkles. We'll have a lot of time to get negative on this episode. Yeah. So Universal opens on the 5th to the public, June 5th, right?
Yeah. So they actually open on the 1st to pass holders and their employees. I don't think they're called cast members. They're called something, but
Yeah, they probably have some dumb name. Let's be
Yeah.
real. But yeah, I feel like Disney's gonna watch and see, like.
they are 100%.
So yeah, because they're not even thinking about anything here till July. Like, I wonder if they're gonna do like let Universal open, wait 2 weeks, the
Mhm.
incubation period,
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's any spike or cases
That would
from
be
Universal.
crazy if there are.
There,
I mean, it's not.
dude,
It's
it
not.
happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere that opened 2 weeks ago is just like Oh, the
Oh, there's a
spike.
spike now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder what they're gonna. I mean, I feel like they'll wait at least the 2 weeks, see what
Mhm.
happens, because
Well, apparently they're already in discussion, whatever that means, like for a 20% to 30% reopening. Mind you, this is all Orlando parks,
yeah,
not us.
Orlando's playing fast. Well, Florida's playing fast and loose with everything,
Yeah.
and then
I mean, I think all of Orlando's economy hinges on their theme parks.
yeah, and the other thing is like if you want to talk distancing, everything's like double wide at Walt Disney
Yeah.
World, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magic Kingdom is just Disneyland wider.
Yeah, I was
That's
talking
it.
to someone yesterday who doesn't know anything about Disney. Like, well,
Mhm.
is Disneyland bigger than, or which one's bigger? I'm like, well, Disneyland's really dense, and then they didn't have any money to buy land, and then in Orlando they bought a city and created
It's
one.
like 26 square miles or something like that.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's why. Like, I see pictures of at least Magic Kingdom
Mhm.
feels a little cold because everything's so spread apart.
Yeah.
Like California Adventure is good.
Hmm.
Things are wide enough. Like I never have that like foot shuffling feeling.
I know what you, yeah.
I
know
only
what you
do
mean.
when like the parking runs out, that kind of, but like what are you gonna do? It's capacity. But
Yeah.
like normally it's like, okay, I got some room.
Mhm.
Yeah, Walt Disney World I haven't been, but like Magic Kingdom just looks like
it's big.
sterile or something. Like
Yeah. Florida, I think in general is just very American. You know what I mean? Like it's the bigger the better.
yeah.
And that's how Walt Disney World is.
Yeah. So you want me to read this quote?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. Well, I guess before that, Josh Tomorrow, right? That's how you say it, Josh Tomorrow.
There's like a D,
Yeah.
God's comma, and Amaro. Josh D'Amaro is what
D'Amaro.
That's
There
what
we
I'm
go.
gonna go with.
All right. He's named chairman of Disney Parks Experiences and Products. So I guess he's big boss now.
Yeah.
We're right under Chepik, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, just what Chapek used to be to Iger, so it's just
Mhm.
kind of moving up, which is cool.
Mhm.
Promoting from within, and
Seems like a cool guy.
yeah. Apparently, the cast members really like him in Walt Disney World. We get conflicting reports that he worked at Disneyland and then that he was
Yeah.
always at Walt Disney World. But last thing he did was president of Walt Disney World. Cast members like him, people like him. Seems like a good guy. Had that cool post on Instagram.
Oh yeah, there was actually video of him on opening day at Disney Springs taking social distancing selfies with people.
Huh.
So he was like 6 feet away, but like still throwing up the peace sign for the Insta post. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it seems
That's
like
cool.
I've heard Chapek talk, and it seems like maybe D'Amaro. Well, it's funny. You see his little name tag and it just says Josh.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I know Bob is supposed to be folksy, but Josh is like very common. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, my name is Josh. Seems like he gets it, or I hope he does, because then maybe he won't be as a cheapek, you know. So yeah, so let's read this quote from Bob Chapek. Upon reopening, certain Disneyland Resort theme parks, restaurants, and other locations may be limited in capacity and restricted to availability or even closed based on guidance from health experts and government officials. Furthermore, certain attractions, experiences, services, and amenities will be modified, have limited availability, or remain closed. Park admission and offerings are not guaranteed. Is this part of the quote?
No.
No. Hey, who wrote this? Because they're missing that Oxford comma in multiple places. And I don't like it.
I don't know. It was like the behind. No, I forget the website.
But what's not missing the Oxford comma, just real quick, is Josh D'Amaro's name. It's chairman of Disney Parks, comma, experiences and products.
Oh,
So I think that's like the parks and all the stuff in it.
like the mugs.
The mugs, man. The mugs.
So he's
So
overseeing all the mugs now.
this quote is interesting because it kind of brings up what I've been saying. Like what stands out to me. Furthermore, certain attractions.
That's
The
interesting.
yellow strap, man.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like gravity-based rides.
You think they'll be closed?
You can't clean Space Mountain, man. If it doesn't launch every 60 seconds, you get the
Yeah.
Cascade, it's closed. So like Space Mountain, Matterhorn,
Mm-hmm.
like they'll probably be able to do Big Thunder because you can run 2 trains. I think it is only 2 trains. They
Yeah.
come into the station and you can just
Jesus, man, that's crazy.
so like
Yeah.
stuff like that where you can control what goes out and when and how many cars are on the track. Like,
But when the ride's controlling us, essentially,
yeah.
you can't.
So I can see Big Thunder because the things are soft, but they're bars.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to clean a bar. Spray, 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 wipe, wipe, wipe. Like it's annoying, but like you see those people doing the guardrails and stuff. So
Yeah.
I could see Big Thunder. I could see Winnie the Pooh with less cars.
What about the dark, like the Haunted Mansion, Pirates?
All I can imagine with Haunted Mansion is you load the whole thing up, but then
Yeah.
when the first person gets off, you don't load anymore.
Oh, I see.
Like, and I'm just spitballing. I haven't heard any of this anywhere, but like that can work. And then you sanitize the whole ride, and then everyone comes
Just
back.
imagine seeing the cast member with the sanitizing net, like a little rag at the end of
Yeah.
that. That's kind of like,
But then like the stretching room, I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah. Or like even astral blasters. Like
No way.
Right?
Dude, it's like, it's a trigger that goes into a housing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's nasty anyway. I feel gross when there is no virus.
Yeah.
So, we can, I wonder if we could like do a whole,
Like
maybe when one of them,
prediction episode.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like what would we do, or
Mhm.
like, I don't know. Maybe next week.
Yeah. There's next week's topic.
Yeah, yeah, we got time.
Yeah.
So,
So our big thunder topic of the week is what? Bad experiences at
yeah.
Disneyland.
So this came about because I forgot to tell a story last week about
Mm.
my first time at Lamplight Lounge.
Mm, oh, that's right.
Yeah, and you were like, "Oh, dude, what happened?" I'm like, okay, hear me out. Bad experiences at Disneyland. So there's surprisingly not that many, but also like,
yeah. Oh, especially over the amount of time we've had our passes. You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
then like, do bad things really happen at Disneyland? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're not feeling well, you're not going there.
You know what's funny is actually last night I went on a rabbit hole of Disney creepypasta. It was so bad.
I feel
It's so bad.
see like we get requests for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, as
Have you read any of it?
no,
No?
I don't do ghost stories and stuff, man. So like I can be like the devil's advocate,
Mm.
and as standoffish as you two are, maybe we can have Brittany on. Brittany's a sister because she's all into ghosts, right?
Yeah.
And she was the one who was like, we should do a ghost story.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna get into that again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Disney creepypasta is very,
Yeah,
very
you
weird.
you guys can be here while I just sit here angry and saying like that's not true. That's it. I'll just explain why it can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll be the bad guy. So let's get right into it with my only half bad experience.
Half bad.
Half bad. Oh, and we have a doc here. Whatever order this is in, I'm not going by that. So okay, so it was late 2011, and I had like this on and off again girlfriend who I'm friends with now, so I'm not gonna say her name. But for like years, I was like, we're gonna go to Disneyland one day because
Mhm.
this was like end of high school, so like we don't have any money, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, promise is a promise. We're going to Disneyland. So I texted her that morning. I'm like, okay, do you want to go? And even at that point, both of us were being weird.
Mm-hmm.
It was like at the tail end of the whole thing, and she was like, yeah, let's go. So we go there, and then she's just like quiet at the ticket booth, and like quiet the whole time.
No.
I'm like, why is she quiet? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like this is gonna be a bad day. So I text RJ. Hey man, you still have your pass? Like, when does it expire? Yeah, I got it for like another 9 months or something. Like, okay.
Come over.
So no. I didn't do that. No. Look, I wasn't. I mean, I was kind of a jerk back then, but like, I'm not like terrible.
Mm.
So I was like, no, this is a date.
Mhm.
So I just texted him, and he's still at his pass. So, and she was like nowhere to be found. She had already disappeared from the booth. So I bought her ticket, and then I bought myself a SoCal pass.
Was that the first time you got a pass?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
first time as like a adult or whatever.
Yeah.
Like not
So
as
is
a kid.
that why it's a half bad experience?
No.
Okay.
So I bought a SoCal pass. That was back when,
Sundays were everything.
and it was like $20 a
Yeah,
month or
yeah.
something dumb like that. So I upgraded my own to the pass, and then I had to go find her, dude.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, where is she?
No.
And then so I find her, and then we go in, and I'm just getting the silent treatment. And I'm
Jesus,
like,
son.
well, why did you want to come if you're going to do that? Like, I get,
Like, it's kind of an expensive date, you know?
yeah. And I was like, I was excited to go. I think we were both just feeling weird, but I was like, I wanted to do this like really
Yeah.
bad. And I don't know, it was weird. And then, we go inside. She's just like not talking to me and like not responding. I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Mhm.
And I just felt like really terrible, man. Like,
Was this like within the first hour that you guys were there?
it was immediately
Jesus.
like, and I wasn't going to be like, I'm taking us home,
Mhm.
and that before I even bought tickets, it was just like, I'm going to stick this out. I don't know what it was. I don't know if we went on a ride or we got something or went
Mhm.
somewhere, but like it it just kind of got better.
Yeah.
Um, a little weird while we were eating at Plaza Inn. Like she didn't want to eat, which was a little weird too. But at some point it like turned into a good Disneyland trip.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
So there
like
was a happy ending at the end of this.
yeah, it was like it was good. We were like hanging out. We watched the fireworks. It was all good.
Mhm.
And then like it ended up being like a good memory with like a bad beginning,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I got you.
but it was the first time we went to Disneyland and we were like didn't know where anything was and
You were
like
new, a rook.
dude, I didn't even like I don't know why. I was like, where's Adventureland?
Oh
Like, I had to go
man.
find it.
Fast forward almost 10 years from then.
Now it's like I could tell you 10 different ways to get there
Yeah.
and like where the bottlenecks are.
Yeah.
But yeah, almost 10 years. So yeah, and then she ended up becoming a cast member
Mhm.
and then like we're friends. We went like not many times afterwards, but like yeah, we went afterwards and we're cool now. It was just and the relationship didn't last much longer than then, but then like we've been friends since then. So maybe that tells you something about our decisions. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just like bad experience. No. It's like a funny thing to look back on now,
Yeah.
especially because we're friends. So
That's cool.
yeah. So what's your first bad experience?
So this is one that I've kind of hinted at throughout all the episodes. Yeah. So, full disclosure, at my company, we've worked with Disneyland before in the past. And obviously, when we started working with them, this was maybe like 4 years ago. My uncle, who's the owner of the company, was like, "You should handle this. You like Disneyland." And I was like, "Yes, I should." Right? Not knowing that throughout this whole experience, I would get like an anxiety attack from it. Like, I would get super depressed over this deal. Like, it's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah,
The,
and,
the
and for background,
Mhm.
your company makes inflatables and tents and
Yeah.
promotional things and
Right.
like I mean kind of Disney, but also Sony. You made that Spider-Man inflatable.
Yeah. Well, we had to get approval from Disney for the inflatable. So
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is Sony's movie, but it's Disney's character.
Right.
Oh man.
right. I saw I remember in an email chain,
Mm,
it was an email chain with Sony and Marvel because Marvel had to go, get the
Yeah.
approval. And I see an email that says Kevin@marvel.com. I was like, I think that's Kevin Feige on my email chain. Couldn't find out it was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So he had to literally put a stamp of approval on the inflatable.
Yeah, so guys, it's an 80-foot inflatable. I
Yeah.
think you could see it on Tom Holland's Instagram.
Yeah, you
if you
could.
scroll back to the Spider-Man premiere.
Yeah.
But all right. So tell us about working with Disneyland.
So the first time I worked with them, the company actually worked with them in the past, and for the Finding Nemo ride for the submarine ride, when it first opened, the day it opened, we actually made a cover for the monorail, and we made a like an inflatable that goes on top of the monorail. They made it look like a submarine. So
Oh.
when it drove over, right by the submarine,
Mhm.
it looked like a submarine was floating, I guess, over.
But the monorail was a submarine the whole time, or was it just floating there? It was like attached to the
It
monorail?
was attached to the
Oh,
monorail.
that's scary, man.
Yeah, I know.
How do you keep that inflated?
Internal blower.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it just took power from the monorail?
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
They ran the cable through the window. Yeah. So that was the first time we worked with them. We made an inflatable castle before that, but those were all like kind of like one-off little projects.
Mhm.
The first time I worked with them and started building a relationship with them, we made the temporary security tents, the pop-up tents
Yeah.
that you still see in downtown Disney. That was my project. So we made the good. There was like I think 35 in total, and we put a good 20 of them up at Mickey and Friends.
Hmm.
Right. So we made the ballast. We made ballast covers. If you touch those little ballasts, you
Yeah.
still feel foam. That was a whole conversation with the Imagineers and stuff. That was fun. But that first project lasted maybe 3 months at the most. Had a great relationship with them. Everything went super smooth. Everything was great, fine and dandy. Left a great taste in my mouth. Would text my Disney guy all the time. Everything was good.
Yeah, I feel like besides the conversations we can't talk about with
Yeah.
what things cost, it seemed like they were like, yeah, we got you, man. Or
Yeah,
like, oh, thanks. Like,
exactly.
oh, could you do this for us? Like,
Exactly. Everything was good, and I wish that's how we ended everything.
so was that Disney or it's some contractor that they had?
Disney directly.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
might explain
That might explain
the
what
next
happened.
story.
Yeah. So, a year and a half later, I get a call from my guy, my Disney. I don't want to use his name, but my Disney guy, and he's like, "Hey, I might have something for you." Oh, cool, man. Yeah, sure. He's like, "It's another security tent, but this time it's a structure. It's not a pop-up. It's more like 20 feet by 250 feet." And I was like, "Yeah, no problem. I can do that." Like we do those kind of tents all the time for dealerships, or I did one up north for an elementary school. Like I do that stuff all the time. It's no big deal. Where the big deal is regulations in Anaheim for structures.
Mm.
That's when everything gets a little iffy. So since we had to do so much construction, we actually had to go through a construction company. Working with a construction company when you're not a construction company is not fun. There's a lot of regulations. There's a lot of rules that they expect you to know. We didn't know any of these rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know any of the obstacles we were going to be facing. So we made a completely custom tent. So everything on that tent, we technically did not make before. It's not the same material we use, not the same aluminum we use. Nothing is really what we do because of all their specific requests.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it. It's just kind of like uncharted waters for us.
Mm-hmm.
And they understood that. Now, with the setup, we expect a tent that size with even, a lot of obstacles in our way. That would take us maybe 3 days to set up. But I don't know if you remember when they closed that side of the park, they had little tunnels.
Tunnels?
Yeah. So, well, it's at the tent, on Harbor.
Yeah, the eastern.
The East Esplanade is what they called it. There were like little tunnels, like truss tunnels, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Scaffolding.
Oh, like that they had at the parking structure too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you guys setting up for a concert? Or?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like you're in the middle of downtown LA almost.
Yeah.
So they had 4 of those, and they needed that because, guests had to go in and out of that side of the park still. We didn't realize that. Nobody told us that until the day before we set it up. Okay. Because of those tunnels, we ended up taking about a month and a half to set it up.
Jeez.
Every night, working 12 hours. And they're just they ask a lot.
But this was a construction company, right?
What do you mean?
Like this wasn't Disney still. So
Okay.
it was a construction company doing Disney and
Yes, but it's like Disney is saying something, they tell the construction company, and the construction company tells us. It's like a very non-confrontational way of doing it that causes confrontation.
yeah.
Because instead of me going to the construction company being like, "Hey man, what the heck? Where did this come from?" I go directly to Disney.
Oh, so construction company comes to you, but you have to go to Disney?
I don't have to go to Disney. I was supposed to go to the construction company, but I'm like, no, I'm going directly to these guys, see what's going, what the issue is with this. Yeah, long story short, it's just, I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying a lot of this, but the Disney just, they didn't, it was a really hard time getting paid from them. So it put a really bad taste in my mouth. Like they wanted to pay us for 3 days worth of work. And when we worked out there for a month and a half without knowing that we were going to be out there for a month and a half, and they just expected that to be part of the original contract. So
Yeah.
it was a mess. It was a mess. And during that time, I was going to every single setup at night and then going to more meetings throughout the day.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I did it for maybe about a week. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I remember I getting an email from the construction company. Looking back on it, I guess I kind of overreacted because the construction company, the main guy, emails me saying, "You guys need to man up." And I'm like, okay, man, like, why do you got to like take it personal? Like,
Yeah.
like where does this come from? Apparently in construction, manning up is literally bringing more men. So I'm like, I got all defensive and I'm like, screw you, you know what I mean? In reality, he was just like, you should bring more men tomorrow. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like, we don't say that anymore, do we? Like,
Yeah.
oh no, like literally
yeah,
just bring more people.
yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not part of that culture,
Yeah.
and it's a very masculine, like, oh, I'm gonna go on top of this tent and I'm gonna show you how it's done, kind of culture in the construction world. Where I'm more of like, I'm gonna go talk to Disney corporate, you know what I mean, in the morning. So
Yeah.
it was really weird. It was a weird experience. I'm glad that I had the experience because everything now that I work on, even like that Spider-Man right,
Mhm.
inflatable you were talking about, that should have been a really hard deal for me. Like it should have been. It took like 6 months to get it.
Mhm.
It took just a lot of effort putting on that whole inflatable at the premiere. But in reality, it was easy because of this project.
Hmm.
Yeah, because looking back, nothing's gonna ever be this hard.
Yeah, that was.
It was bad. It was really really bad. I know my uncle's been doing this for like 35 or so years, and he told me like he's never experienced anything to this magnitude of like stress and like how rough of a project it was. It was to the point for him because he usually doesn't step in on a lot of my deals. Like it's like he's like you can handle it. You know, you do you. I'll come to him if I have any questions, but that's it. On this one, I told him like, look, you got to get involved on this, and he got as involved as I've ever seen him on anything,
Mm.
to the point where he was literally. I have pictures of him driving the forklift, lifting the tent up. He's
Wow.
there at 2 a.m, fork on the forklift, lifting up this tent with the hard hat and everything on. I had never seen that, and he got after my week of constant working and constant being out there, he did the same. I was able to get a few hours in of rest throughout the day. He didn't because he had a business to run too.
Yeah.
And I remember on the fourth day of him not sleeping, he couldn't talk.
Whoa.
Yeah, like he was so exhausted that all the words that were coming out of his mouth were literal gibberish.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was like he was drunk, but he doesn't drink. It was a really weird thing to the point where everyone at work was like, "You need to go home and sleep."
Yeah.
Like this is really bad. We were scared to let him drive home. But long story short, we kind of cut ties with working with Disney after all this. They actually even came to my office. Like one of the heads of I don't need it's not Imagineering. It's more like the construction portion of Disneyland that deals with projects.
Yeah, they have a whole like company for it. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's called though.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
But he like the main guy used to run his own construction company,
Mhm.
and now he works for Disney. Really really nice people. Oh, they were all really nice to me. They came to the office to pretty much ask us to continue working with them, and that they want to like bury any bad blood. But at the same time, they were doing that so they didn't have to pay.
Ah.
Yeah. It was a strategy, and I appreciated the strategy. You know what I mean? We eventually got all the money we wanted, and ties just got cut.
Did they? Yeah. So did you feel that from their end, or you were just like, I'm done?
Um, to an extent, it was from their end. To an extent, it was from our end.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to work with them anymore. The stress was not worth it, in my opinion. It's really cool to be able to go to Disneyland every time I go and be like, I did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, just the amount of like times I broke down during the project, the relationships I lost. I did gain, a really big relationship in my life, my girlfriend throughout that, which was really cool. But like I just it was not a good time for me. This was last year in like January. or so.
Yeah, and like things you were telling me you were going through, you had never even
Mm.
felt that stuff. So
No.
I was like, oh, this is bad
Yeah.
because
no,
you're chipper, you're
yeah.
a chipper person, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I wish we had just left it where we did with the pop-up tents, because after that I was great. Like I work with Disney, like
Mm.
I'm gonna keep working with Disney. This is cool, but yeah, this was kind of out of our league. And now if you go to the Toy Story parking lot,
Mm.
they have new tents for security. They copied my design.
That's
Yeah.
how it goes.
That's how it goes.
I mean, we've sold stuff to Apple, and they're just like, we're gonna take this to China, and if we like it, we're not buying more. They're just gonna knock it off for us.
Exactly.
And we're like, well, I guess we could either make 50 grand off you now,
hmm
or just not at all, and you'll find a way to knock it off anyway.
Mhm.
They'd just go buy it through a third company, which they do all the time.
Yeah, which they did, and it's fine, because like I said, even on my end, I don't want to work with them anymore. It left a bad taste in my mouth in the sense where I didn't want to even go to Disneyland for like a month or two after
Mhm.
that. And then I kind of just brushed it off, and I started going again.
I mean, let's be real. There are bad customers. Like
Yeah.
we have some huge companies,
hmm
and see, we won't ship unless a company pays us, unless they're really good to us.
Right.
Where they're like we just did one now where they didn't even send us a PO. Well, they sent it, at the last minute, but we're like, yeah, we'll ship you a machine Tuesday because we know that they'll pay because they always do. But like some of them, they got tons of money. But we're like, not worth it.
Yeah.
And like even like what I've made a big deal about, and I'll do it with not rudely, but like I just separate work and home. If I'm not done for the day, I stay. If I go home, like I'll check my email if there's like an emergency, like a legitimate one. Otherwise, just sorry, man. Like this is
I'm not working.
Everyone's got to calm down.
Yeah.
And like
that's really good. It's a really good habit to get into.
Yeah, and I won't be like, oh, I'm not working right now. It's just like, hey,
you make a conscious effort.
Yeah, if you email me at 2 a.m, like unless like there's nothing I could do at 2 a.m, so I'm just not even gonna check. But like, so did this kind of like help you, like learn how you're gonna deal with this in the future? Like
yeah, it really did. And like I was kind of saying, like everything seems easy now.
Yeah, like I used to bring in my dad for a lot of stuff, and now, because he's my boss, but now just like certain things, like I'll handle it. It's fine.
Yeah, like there's been a couple times when other salespeople at the company they come to me so I can deal with their issues. You know what I mean? Since I'm technically their boss, and they're like, man, I can't sleep over this project. Like they have all this stress, and I'm like, dude, you don't even know. Like my uncle doesn't even pay attention to those projects. And I'm like, last year he lost 4 days of sleep on this project. So this was the real deal. Like I can deal with all these little deals, no problem.
Yeah, it doesn't kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, that project was really bad. I hope that I continue working with other divisions of Disney. I've worked with Disney Studios for like a Cars 3 tour a few years ago. That was good. That was a really good experience. I so got a little tour of Disney Archives, which was really cool. And I should have gone that day.
I mean, they open it every now and then, so. All right. So our next story, the Jazz Kitchen reservation. So this, I don't remember when this was, but it was with a girlfriend who was not the one in the last story. I don't know if we had passes or not, but we're just like, let's go to downtown Disney and eat at Jazz Kitchen because I've never eaten there. So I go there, like, oh, we have to take down your number. And at the time, I think I had like my texts were going through Hangouts because on Android, you just pick your text app.
Right.
And so I give them my number and whatever. And then like, we're not getting the text. And then like, I opened my phone up and for some reason it was like, if it was a new number or something like that, it was like auto muted. So it wasn't giving me notifications. And so I see it there and it was like 15 minutes before. And then we lost the reservation.
Jeez.
And for some reason, my girlfriend just like got mad and started like blaming me for it. She's like, oh, something like you always do this. I'm like, what did I even do? I didn't do anything.
You didn't have an iPhone?
You and your dumb like tech stuff, whatever. I'm like, I didn't want to, I think it was a second number too that I give to restaurants and stuff because I don't want them to have my number.
Yeah.
And which is funny because it's my main number now. But I'm just like, dude, we'll just go and tell them. And then she was just like, I think we didn't even go back to tell them. She was just that mad. And then she was like, gonna call an Uber and go home. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, that's the worst.
She was just mad, didn't want to. I'm like, dude, like, listen, there have been 1 or 2 times where like this type of thing would be justified, but like, what are you even doing? Like, we just missed it. Like, we could just laugh about this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it sucks, but like, we can still go eat. Like, it wasn't a birthday. It was like a Saturday. It was just like no anniversary, nothing. It was just like, let's go eat. And she was just mad, and I was just like, didn't know what to do. And then she was just like, oh, don't even like be near me right now. I'm like, what the heck, dude? And I think this was towards the end anyway, but I was just like, Jesus, like it was just missed. It wasn't even a reservation. I wasn't late to anything. It was just my phone was stupid. And it was like a legitimate, it wasn't like a cheapo phone. It wasn't me cheaping out or being dumb or like, oh, let me give them my Skype and hope it was just like a dumb error. And like, what do you expect from Google, I guess? But I mean, come on. And,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and so that was just like, I don't know, man. That was like,
have you been to Jazz Kitchen since then?
No, I've still never been. But like, what's funny is this is like not. I know it was a short one, but this reminds me of, I won't say his name. Like I met up with one of my friends when I happened to be there on Dapper Day by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? We hung out a little bit. I checked out the expo. And then like the girl he was with goes to the bathroom. And then he looks at me. And before he says anything, I'm like, I should go, huh? And he's like, yeah, probably. I'm like, yeah, I know that face. The I'm mad face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so scary. And I'm like I almost feel it. So I'm going to go. And he's like, yeah, thanks, man. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. Like, we've all been here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was just mad because like I was there. But I'm like, dude, come on. Like, who doesn't like I was only there for like 20 minutes. I wasn't date night. It was like noon.
And in all honesty, you're pretty mindful when it comes to like meeting up with people. Like if you meet up with somebody, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take off, like after like half an hour or something.
Yeah, I think the only time I didn't, like, I think we walked back together that last time to the parking structure.
Who?
With you, Brandy, when we met up with Nicole.
Oh, that's fine.
No. I'm just saying, like, yeah, because I know like people are on a date, and even like beforehand, I'll be like, hey, you like want to hang? You're on a date, and then you'd be like, yeah, come by, say hi, and then like it depends on where we are, and I'll be like, oh, what are you guys doing next? And if it's like nothing, we just chill a little bit. Like, oh, we have fast passes for this, or we're gonna see that. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah,
because like, it's not every time you're with your girlfriend or whatever is a date. Like, I know it's always a date, but it's not like
alone time.
Yeah, but like sometimes it is, and like sometimes you had a long week and you just want to like be alone together. So it's like,
you get it.
But I'd always love like saying hi, and that's the other thing. I'll text people, hey, I'll come by, say hi. And be like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, what are you guys doing? All right, I gotta go do. I'll pretend, or I will just like be like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and then sometimes people will be like, oh, we'll go with you. And I'll be like, oh, cool. Because usually I'm alone or I'm with Christine, and like we're always down to like hang with friends because we're not on a date. So, so yeah, but that was like just like a fun little similar memory thing.
Now that you mentioned Jazz Kitchen, I actually have one that it's not really a bad experience. I mean, I guess it's in the perspective, but I went when I was maybe 15 or 16. I went to one of my first concerts. I don't know if I've told the story on the podcast before, but I went to one of my first concerts in the House of Blues.
I think you mentioned it, but no story.
No? Okay. So it was at the House of Blues where Splitsville's at now.
Yeah.
And it was Flogging Molly. You know who Flogging Molly is?
Yeah,
the Irish punk band. And I was really into them. I got really into them because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, I think.
Drunken Lullabies.
Drunken Lullabies was on there. And I went with Gabriel Miranda. He was like one of my best friends at the time. Went from elementary to high school, just us two. And we went to go watch them. My family waited for us. And they went to go eat at Jazz Kitchen. My mom, my sister, my two little cousins, my aunt and my uncle. They were all waiting for us while we were in the concert. And I just have like a very vivid memory of like being really uncomfortable because it was my first concert. Being like, man, everyone's so close together. There's people just dancing right next to me.
Oh, he was moshing or something, wasn't he?
And then that was for the first band, who were the Agrolites.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like a ska reggae band. And I remember seeing when Flogging Molly came on, they came on hard. You know what I mean? And Gabriel just went directly into the mosh pit, and yeah, he came out with the bloody nose, and I was just like, whoa, what the heck is going on? I was a little freaked out, but by the time it ended, I was like, wow, that was awesome. That was really cool. So not really a bad experience, I guess, in the moment, and uncomfortable.
Yeah, I hate that feeling, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, man, I think that like stops me from doing things sometimes, and I have to get over it, like.
Because in the end, most of the time, it's a positive experience.
It's weird. I've been in like 20 raves, like the big outdoor festival raves. And sometimes like I almost know I'm not going to like enjoy the first 30 minutes because you got to get into it. And like sometimes people would be like bless Mario, who's like always trying to like check up, because I usually go with him and Omar, his cousin. And he'd be like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, look, dude, I'm good. Just like give me like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'll get into it. And then I'll be dancing more than you all night, you know? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, that weird, uncomfortable, like, wow, why am I here feeling?
But then after, you're good.
Yeah. So I always like just try to think of that, So let's see, which one should I do? Let's go with a little uncomfortable. So this is a quick one. So I was at Disneyland Yeah. So I met up with my friend Melody at Disneyland, and she was with her friends, or like we're all gonna meet up or something like that. And this was, I think, No, 2 years ago. And maybe it was the last time we went. Like I'd seen her there, but maybe it was the last time we went. Anyways, so we're with their friends and like, or her friend, and then her friend brought her friend. So this is like whatever. So we're at DCA, and she was telling me like, oh yeah, I don't think her friend likes me. I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. I it's just
Likes
like
you?
no, like so Melody was like, oh, I don't think the friend. Okay, if I say the friend, it's like the third one. Melody's
Right.
friend is like almost not really part of this.
Right.
So she's like, I don't know if she likes me.
Oh,
Like,
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say anything like that makes me seem worthy of not being liked. It's just like, but the friend was weird, like that third party friend. And then Melody's friend is afraid of Mickey's Fun Wheel, not just
Not the drink.
not the drink, just like the whole ride,
Yeah.
stationary or not. So she didn't come. But the other friend was like, oh, I'll come with you guys. And we're like, oh, great. So we're just standing in line, and that friend's just talking to me, not even
that is
acknowledging
uncomfortable.
Melody. And I'm just like, I got to talk it up just to like keep things going.
Mhm.
And then, of course, no other families put with us. So we're just like on the Ferris wheel, the three of us, just like awkwardly stuck. And I'm just like trying to make things not awkward. And it was just like, get me out of this gondola. And it was non-swinging too. Well, I like the swinging, but it was like, it was just super awkward, man. And then afterwards, we're like, yeah, we're going to go. And it was like, oh, is everything cool? Like, yeah, we're just tired. We're probably going to go eat somewhere. And then we went to In-N-Out because,
The one right off the 5.
no, we went to the Roland Heights one.
Oh, okay.
How did she get there? Because I took her home, but I didn't take her there. I don't remember. But maybe the friend, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that was just like, just being with that awkward friend who's not your friend
Yeah.
because you just met them. So it was like, I don't know, that was weird. I mean, probably a nice person, but just strange. All right, so you next. What you got?
So I'm going to kind of combine two of them because they kind of both come back to the same I guess bad experience, and that's just like things being full or at capacity. So the first one, I'll do that one really quick. It was 24-hour day. The first time they did 24-hour day, I think that was like in like 2012 ish, 2013 ish. I went with one of my friends at the time. Now she's a DJ on Power 106, kind of cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, she was really cool. And we got there at like 11 at night, right? Because we were like, oh, this is so cool. We can go to Disneyland at like 2 in the morning, and it's not grad night. You know what I mean? So we got there late, not realizing that by the time we got there, the line to get into Disneyland was almost at the bathrooms on the left side of DCA. On the harbor side. So it was all the way back there to get into the park. And we waited for maybe about an hour. Didn't move. We didn't move. So we just left.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like the first at capacity experience that I had. The second one is the most annoying thing. And this kind of like, it would really irk me every time I would go to the parks like 2 or 3 years ago. And that's when the parking lot would get full. Quote unquote full, which I don't think it means full. I think it means the line is going far enough into ball. And then they'll just shut down the parking lot to let the line go in.
Yeah, the police do that.
Okay.
So Disney has no control. When they're like, oh, parking lot's not open right now, Anaheim police have just said, you're going to Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gone to Toy Story. Well, now with the whole, Pixar Pals parking, I've never seen that issue.
Yeah, it's only happened like 3 times.
Yeah. But I've been to Toy Story. That one I don't mind as much. The one that really bugged me was when they sent me to the Garden Walk.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because you have to get onto a bus or whatever.
Yeah, I hate that.
I've also gone to the convention center.
Yeah, it's just the other side of
that one's
Toy Story.
That one's not that bad. But I've gone to so many different like overflow parking lots. I've been to Simba.
That's the worst one. That's like behind AMC or something weird like that, right?
Yeah.
And you got to get there from the Paradise Pier side on the street, and I hate that. Bad vibes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like if you were to go to Disneyland 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, on a Sunday and 1 to 2 o'clock, good luck. That's when all the pass holders are getting there. You know what I mean? When the SoCalers are getting there.
Yeah, it used to be empty on Sundays,
It
and now
used to be.
now they're the worst days.
Yeah.
Especially, dude, Halloween.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't understand the Halloween hype. I'm not a Halloween person, and people go insane since they did California Adventure,
Yeah.
Cars Land. They acknowledged that Mexicans exist and did all the Dia de los Muertos stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, let's leverage Coco," and like, which is great. Love that.
Love that movie too.
I haven't seen it, but
You've never seen Coco?
no, I haven't.
Oh man.
But I love that they're embracing that, and they're like, "Oh, right, other people exist, especially in California." But that brought everyone.
Everyone.
in.
Have you ever been to Bats Day?
No.
Do you know what Bats Day is?
Yeah, the goths.
Yeah, when all the goths show up at Disneyland, I accidentally went to Bats Day, and I was like, man, why is everyone wearing like black and these like they look like they're gonna get married gowns, you know? What I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
And but yeah, I'm just really glad that they kind of figured out the whole parking situation.
Yeah.
Toy Story now is more like it's a choice to go to Toy Story instead of being forced.
I know people who like it. I think Melody's mom likes it.
Like parking in Toy Story.
Yeah, she says it's easier. I'm like, but the bus, I don't. You do you. That's fine.
Yeah. I did it just to look at the tents. Yeah, that's the only reason why I parked.
You're very
in Toy Story.
spiteful towards other tent companies. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I have parked in Toy Story for not WonderCon. For one of the cons. You know what I mean? The conventions.
Yeah.
That were at the convention center, which I shouldn't be doing, but you know.
Yeah, I did that for PlayStation Experience.
Yeah, see, it's convenient.
Yeah. with the free parking and stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's been one time I think I was setting up for not a convention, what are they? Trade show.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, let me just go to Disneyland. And then they're like, oh, Mickey and Friends is closed. I drove home.
Yeah,
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. The whole parking situation would just be like the most annoying thing in the world.
Oh, dude, I've like had to like wait when when they don't monitor if the levels are full and you
Mhm.
just drive around.
Yeah.
I once drove around 30 minutes and I had to pee the whole time. I was gonna die. And I couldn't escape either.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and like that's what I hate about Toy Story. Usually by the time I get there, I just have to go to the bathroom real quick.
And there's no
There's
restroom.
no bathroom there,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, just put one. Like, come on.
I remember driving the same situation where they were monitoring it, and I had to drive around for the parking spot, and I was already on 0 on my my gas meter.
Oh, if I'm there, I fill out that Arco, and I never go to Arco.
Yeah. And
That's scary.
that Arco used to be really cheap, and all of a sudden it got really expensive.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah. So, the parking thing. I'm not even gonna like continue talking about parking, but I did talk about a bathroom. So,
hey,
let's do it.
nice transition.
So, last year, I think, when they did like that it was last summer when they're like, oh, if you're a pass holder, you can bring friends in for $90
That was a
or
good
whatever it was. Or no, it was the one park. So it was like $60 or something. It was ridiculous. So, my friend Tori, who I've talked about before, and her friend, oh man, how did I forget her name? Starts with a V.
Veronica.
No.
Uh,
Viviana.
Vivian. I was gonna say Vivi, actually.
Close. Yeah, I know them both from the library. And like, funny thing is, Vivian and I got hired at the same time for the same position, different shifts. So I never saw her. It's like, I know your life. I live your life, at least at work. We do not know each other. But
That's
anyways,
hilarious.
cool people. They wanted to get there early and then like leave early too. They're like, we only want to stay till like 2. I'm like, all right. So I go there. I'm like, oh, all I want to do is go to Galaxy's Edge and pick up the Ronto morning wrap or whatever they call it with like the egg cheese, and I'm like, I just want to grab that and then we could do anything. And so I got that. It was great. And
It was good.
Oh, it's delicious,
I
man.
need to try that.
Yeah. And so good day, having fun, all that. And we go on Winnie the Pooh. And then like at some point on Winnie the Pooh, I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh no.
And like, not like, oh, my stomach's hurting or whatever. I'm like,
You need to get off.
I'm not going to make it. And look, man, like sometimes I have like stomach issues, but not bad. Just like, I got to go to the bathroom, whatever. This was like, oh no. And then like, I'm like, and like Tori's trying to talk to me.
And
on
you
the
just
ride.
not listen.
I'm just like clenching my teeth and like letting like letting words come out. I don't know if she sensed that there was something wrong or not. I'm just like, oh my God.
You said you were on Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah. There's
So
a pun there.
the closest restrooms are at Hungry Bear?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt it before we got on the ride, but like, no, I'll be fine. It's just like it's coming and going, you know? And then out of nowhere, it's just like bad and you can't do anything. You're on like those hard chairs. You're just like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. This is the end of me. And
Did you make it?
then we get off the ride and I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. And they're like, okay, we'll be right here. And I just like run. Like, run like an idiot and go to Hungry Bear. And then like get out of Hungry Bear. And I'm like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. And then like, oh, we want to buy shoes I think for her wedding, she wanted Disney or like for engagement pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I don't know if they sell them, but like, yeah, we'll go. We went to, I don't know what it's called. Is Westward Ho is the pin trading? But
Yeah, the one across from it.
Yeah, it's like outfitters.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, something outfitters. And so we go there and we're like picking out stuff. Like, you know, I like helping out with that stuff. And I'm like, hey guys, like 100%, I'm having a great time with you guys. Like it was a really good day. Like I'm really glad we hung out, but like I'm not feeling well. Like I'm gonna go home. And like I've just learned to be honest with that stuff. And they're like, oh, I'm like, no, look, I had a great time. I have to go. And they're like, oh, that's fine. Like I hope you feel better. So I left. She found the shoes.
Hey,
I think at World of Disney. So, you know,
that's cool.
good for her. And then, you know, I like had to do like the guilty text at home. Like, look, I wasn't lying. Like, had a great time. I just like had to go home. And they're like, no, cool. And they only stayed like an hour afterwards anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Were you already living here?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like
close.
it was like a 15-minute drive instead of like hovering around bathrooms.
Yeah.
And I think I was mostly okay afterwards. I don't know what it was. And like,
I hope it wasn't the Ronto wrap.
so here's the thing. I thought for a while I was allergic to egg,
yeah.
but I'm not because I'll eat eggs here at home. Like I'll make 2, like I'll probably make some after we're done recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I'm like lactose intolerant, but sometimes I feel like I'm allergic to milk because like,
So that's not. Oh no, that's lactose.
so I think it could just be both too, but
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to get into it, but I took like the lactase pill and it's like a tiny amount of cheese and like, I don't think there was any sauce or anything. So I don't know, man. Sometimes just like things happen, you know?
Yeah.
It was weird, but that was like it was like my most terrifying Disneyland experience. Cause like, look,
That's something you can't control,
dude. I'm sure like all of us have had to go to the bathroom, but like, it's fine. You just go, you know, this was just like out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Quick shout out to those bathrooms in the Grand Californian.
I don't see the big deal
The
about
best
them.
bathrooms in Disneyland.
I mean, Hungry Bear's not bad.
Right there at Hungry Bear, I actually saw Josh Gad
Huh.
just walking right into Galaxy's Edge.
I like the decor in the Hungry Bear.
The area?
Oh, dude, we got to talk about like a decor episode. I
Yeah.
noticed light fixtures and stuff. So
Yeah.
someday we need pictures first. Shout out to our Trammin podcast Instagram, which I'm so close.
Yeah,
I have a Sweet Treats album in
yeah,
Google Photos.
That one
So
is all you.
I'm just going to boom, just like
Yeah.
knock those out in a day and you guys can
I
go
think I
back
have
and check.
one picture maybe.
You have like the picture of Brandy. You got the
Yeah.
World of Color at Lamplight. The far shot of Lamplight, which is a good one. And like the kid pictures. Yeah.
But it's mainly you with all the pictures.
Yeah. So that's my only like bad bathroom story. I don't have bathroom stories. It's just like, hey, sometimes, you know, you got to go. But this was like terrifying. Up to you now. Let's go.
All right. Let's see. Which one should I do? Okay. So I guess I was talking a little bit about WonderCon before this, and I'm really big into the conventions, which are probably dead now. But I was at WonderCon, and when I was walking back, because this time I actually parked in Mickey and Friends parking structure, and I was like, you know, I'll take a walk through downtown Disney, blah blah blah. And we went, and when I was going through security, they checked my bag. Yeah, here you go. I was really into Pokemon cards at the time, and you know, Sosa and I got like, we'd go to tournaments and everything. And whenever you play any kind of like trading card game, you need a mat, like a giant mouse pad.
Yeah.
Right? You need the mat so your cards don't get dirty, even though they're in sleeves. It's
fine. It's fine.
Okay. And I bought a mat. It was a Final Fantasy X mat, right? I'm walking through security. They stopped me. And they're like, what is this? I'm like, well, it's a trading card mat. I try to explain it to them, and they're like, well, no, it's not. It's a poster. I'm like, that's not poster material. That's not a poster. They're like, well, you can use it as a poster. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And they're like, well, you can draw attention to yourself when you're in the park and hold up a poster and cause a scene.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay, like, I'll just keep it in my bag or something. And they're like, no, we got to escort you off premises now. I'm like, mind you, this is like 3-4 months after I did the whole tent thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I already got a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? And I'm like, by the way, your boss over there, I worked with him like a lot. So they're like, okay, he comes over and he talks to me. I forget his name. He's a little short, bald guy. And he's like, man, I remember you guys are really cool, but we can't allow that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that kind of screwed me.
Okay, well, at least they're like, he means well, but he's got to go.
Yeah. So they had one of the other security guards walk me to the tram.
Why?
Wait with me at the tram until I got on.
Like as if you're going to like sneak it past another security guard?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I'm like, that's fine. Had a nice little conversation with the security guard. Went to my car, left it there, walked right back.
Well, yeah, they just want to make sure you put it away.
Yeah.
Because,
But I'm just like, really? I get it. Maybe it feels like a movie-sized poster that I was going to put in my room or something. That maybe could draw some attention. But something that has no relation to Disney at all, too. A Final Fantasy. 11 by, I think it's like 11 by maybe like 14 mat.
Yeah, it's like a piece of paper.
And it's rolled up into a tube.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And they looked at it?
Yeah. They unrolled it and they were like, yeah, this is too big.
But it doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I know.
That's weird. But
yeah.
All right, whatever.
I guess it's really just dependent. And what's weird too is because yesterday I was watching little documentaries on that movie that was shot in Disneyland, Escape from Tomorrow.
I heard it's not good.
It's not good. It's definitely not good. But they shot a whole movie
in secret over multiple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they just don't want any of that, like props
maybe.
and stuff.
Maybe. But yeah. I mean, that was a little experience, but thought I'd mention it.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't like tragic stories at Disneyland. Mm-mm. It's just, some bad stuff that happened. So let's lighten it up a little bit before it gets worse. My first time at Lamplight Lounge. So Lamplight Lounge had just opened, and I'm like,
this was the story you were going to tell last week.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got to go. And I think it was after work, and I was alone. I think everyone was busy. So I'm like, I'm going to go anyway.
Mm.
So I go to Lamplight Lounge, and I order the Scream canister first. And I think that's the only time I had it. And I'm like, oh, this is good. And I'm like waiting for food to come. And I don't know if I got two things, but I did for sure get like the chicken sandwich. And I know I might have been spicy too. So and I always get water, but I start drinking this before I get the sandwich. So I'm like kind of feeling it. But then I'm like, okay, let me stop drinking, eat some of this sandwich. But like, I don't know if I ate too much, but it didn't feel like it. Mm-hmm. But something happened in my stomach. This is not a bathroom story, don't worry. But like something happened in there where I just felt terrible. Not like a stomach ache, just like this bloated feeling like I couldn't breathe.
So it wasn't like you were sick?
No. So I like drink the whole thing. And then I'm like, I think I was feeling okay. I don't know why. I ordered the over budget, the mule.
Oh, yeah.
About like a quarter way down there, I was like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I don't know what's wrong though. So like
maybe the alcohol?
Yeah, but like it wasn't that much or anything. And like I think I was heavier back then and was like, man, I don't know what it was. And I told the bartender, like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. But it wasn't a bathroom issue. I just like walked there and like washed my face and then like came back. And I didn't even finish the drink. I like paid the thing and then I just like slowly, very slowly just walked around the park. It's like, I'm going to walk this off until I burn off enough so I can drink water. So there's room in my stomach for water and just like,
that's not a good feeling.
I was like feeling dizzy too, but like I guess buzzed, but not that I ever like it, but it was just bad. Like headache, buzzed at the same time, a little dizzy, but like stomach was full and I didn't even eat that much. I'm like, I almost wish I had to go to the bathroom because then that would just like, that's an easy problem. This is just like, oh, this like icky feeling. And it's like, I just want to sleep right now. And
do they still have the chicken sandwich?
Yeah.
They do?
I I think they have a spicy one and a non-spicy. Whatever it is, it's just like a massive sandwich, man. And I guess it was good. It was just hit the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I probably should have just had water, eaten the sandwich, and then had the first sip of the drink. You know, because I hadn't eaten. Oh, and my reservation was like 7:30, and I hadn't eaten since like 12. So everything just like
it just bad. Everything lined up.
Nothing goes right in your stomach when that happens. So I guess like the way I was digesting, I don't know. It was just like, oh man, I just like wanted to sleep. It was such a weird feeling. And then just like a quick, I've told this story. Did I tell the story about the sweet treats and how I ate 2 at one time? The s'mores and the coconut. And I sat on a bench.
I don't remember.
I like that s'mores thing came out and I'm like, I got to go try this. And so I bought that. And then for some reason I bought a coconut patty and I ate both of them in quick succession. And then I just like so much sugar and like, again, no stomach ache, nothing at all. Just like that sugar death feeling. I went to Frontierland. I bought a bottle of terrible Dasani and I sat on one of those benches in the middle, just feeling sad. Like, I just sat on a bench, slowly drinking water, hanging my head in shame. Like, you idiot. Yeah. Why would you eat this much sugar at once? And like, I love sugar. Nothing's too sweet for me. I'm just sat there in sadness. And then eventually I felt okay. But it was like, now I'm really careful about the sweets I buy. And I'll always try to share or whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Foolish.
All right. So this is, the rise of the resistance. Right. So this kind of leads me into, I talk about this one next because the parking, even though we have Pixar Pals now, the whole, issue of getting into the parking lot was so bad the day that we tried to get on Rise of the Resistance that I got to Disney. I got off of the freeway at 6:45 in the morning. I parked at 7:35. So it took about 50 minutes from the time I got off the freeway to actually park. Crazy. Anyways, the whole anxiety that comes along with getting the boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance was ridiculous. Like, we parked at 7:35. In my head, I had been up since 4:30. Picked up Brandy's cousin in San Pedro, drove to Anaheim. Yeah, it was a bit of a journey from Covina, San Pedro to Anaheim. So I was just already in like antsy mood because of all this commitment I did right before the ride. We get there at 7:35. I'm literally like, let's go. We gotta not run because everyone is trying to run, and there's a bunch of cast members being like, do not run, right? Just fast, walk with the purpose.
Morning announcement. Remember to walk, not run, and whatever it is afterwards.
So we're coming down. We parked in Pixar Pals. We're coming down, and I see the line for security is super long. I'm like, nah, we're not doing this. I'm doing a little AP hack here, and we're walking through the nice bridge they built to downtown Disney, and we're walking all the way.
Love that bridge.
Yeah, and security was decent, right? At the tents there. No line for no bag. I didn't have a bag, right? Brandy and her cousin did. So I'm like, look, guys, I'm going, right? I'll try to get us in. I don't know what I'll do, but I need to go. So I go, fast-paced walking. It's like 7:45. I get in line in front of Disneyland. The line's already by, it's long.
The monorail track, past it, something like that.
Past the monorail track, close to where that pop-up Haagen-Dazs was.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was pretty long. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way we're going to make it in 15 minutes. We wait. I wait a little bit. I notice a new line is forming, right? It starts to form. I see Brandy and Jasmine, her cousin, literally running like from downtown Disney. And they're like, we just ran the whole way. People told us to stop. We said no. And they're out of breath. And all of a sudden, that new line starts forming. And Jasmine's like, there's a new line for me. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to be that guy, like to
go back and forth between the lines.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I am. And she goes, right? We get into that line and we're like way, way up there. It's like 7:51, 52. And there's like 10 people in front of us to get into the park. We get in like 7:56. We have a couple minutes to spare. We're going on our phones. 8 o'clock hits. Jasmine gets it for us at like boarding group 10.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a low number.
yeah. It was really low, and it was Jasmine. I'm like really glad we picked her up. Made that whole commitment, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have gotten on the ride. Well, we probably would have a lot later in the day.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to Jasmine. Yeah, that was a really good day.
Right.
Bad experience with all the anxiety and everything. Really good ending. Actually won a that same day I won a contest for the new Nike SBs, the
Oh,
Travis Scott ones.
cool.
Yeah, and I ended up just selling them because I bought them for $100 and was able to sell them for like 900.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I did that whole transaction. It was a really long day, but it was a good day.
Hey, listen, if you're getting ripped off 900 for shoes, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's not a face
Oh,
mask.
the guy was so happy that he bought them because they were like so hard to find. He's like, yeah, 900, no problem, man. We having a nice conversation. He's like, if you ever go to any of his events, let me know. Yeah, that was cool. So everyone was happy in the end, I guess.
Yeah. It's not price gouging if it's not essential.
Yeah.
It's true. It's the law.
All right.
Yeah, just like a quick thing about Rise of the Resistance. So Christine wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, we'll go at 7. I'm like, I'm not good in the mornings. Not that like I'm cranky. I just like, I don't feel well in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I gotta like slowly wake up and stuff. Or I'll have to wake up super early. So she's like, no, let's do it. I'm like, I had to explain everything to her. I'm like, listen, we gotta like leave my place. The park opened at 9 instead of 8.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, we gotta get to my place late at 7:30 and then just head out and then park and then do this whole thing and whatever.
But even though it opened, the day I went, it opened at 9 also. But they let everyone in an hour early.
Yeah, but you couldn't get the ticket, the pass.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. So then it actually did open at 8.
Yeah, you went on the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, weekend's 8. This was a weekday.
Okay.
I was gonna take a day off work. It was like a Tuesday or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Oh, actually, I have something to do at 1:30." I'm like, "Listen." She's like, "Do you think we'll get on by like 10:30?" I'm like, "Listen, even if we get a boarding group, we could get on at 9:30. We can get on at 7:30 at night."
You need the whole day commitment.
Yeah, I'm like, and look, that's fine with me because like if we got like a 10 o'clock at night, we just come back home, or like you go back or whatever it is, and we come back or blah 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 blah. But I'm like, if you gotta leave, like I don't mind not getting on. I will just expect not to get on forever. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like do this whole thing and then you're just like really disappointed, or like you feel like you have to cancel your other thing to do it. And then I'm like, even if we get on like the first boarding group, which is like, or like we get on at like 10 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
there's still like a 35-minute wait. And then it's like a 20-something minute ride with like the pre-show and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the walk back, the drive back, and then coming here. And then I'm like, I don't think we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to, let's go. Because I know like her pass was expiring. But I'm like, don't do this and then be really disappointed,
Yeah, with like us having a low boarding group, I still didn't leave until like 12:30.
Yeah.
So-
Like group 10?
Mhm.
Like what were the chances I was even going to get group 10?
Exactly.
Like nothing. So we ended up not going, and we just like did another Disney day, which is fine. And like now it's closed. Like, I wish she was able to get on because I found a way to get on, right? But like I didn't, like that crushing disappointment I think is worse than waiting. And like she'll have a pass again, and then like it'll be easy someday. So yeah, we just didn't do that. So the Susan story. So in college, I had this friend, Susan. We were really cool, but like we only hung out at school because that's just how it goes,
Right.
Like, and this is the Jazz Kitchen girlfriend. So she was really weird. I didn't like understand how bad this was till later. She was like, it's because I would just tell like what I did at school, and she was like, you can be friends with girls, that's fine. Not that it should be her decision anyway. She's like, I just don't want to hear about them. Don't ever talk about them. I'm like, okay, all right. So like I met Susan after that. So I just never brought her up because I'm
Right.
like, she doesn't want to hear this.
Right,
Like,
right.
why would you want to hear about like, oh yeah, Susan, what's his name? I love this guy. What's his name? Justin. And I don't know, there's usually like another person. Like, oh yeah, we all hung out today and we went to the library or Starbucks. Like, she didn't want to hear any of that. So I just didn't tell her.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but I didn't know that till later. And so had this friend. So anyways, I'm with my girlfriend and we go to Innoventions and we're hanging out at the Smart House. Looks all cool. We're in the kitchen, right?
R.I.P. Interventions.
R.I.P. But it killed this bad memory, so whatever. So we're in the kitchen looking at stuff, whatever. I'm just looking around because that's what you do. I turn around, Susan's there.
Oh,
And
nice.
normally, I was internally very excited.
Yeah.
You see a friend. It's like, I ran into you in the kitchen of
Yeah.
the smart, like, who that,
What
why
are the
would that,
chances of that?
right?
Yeah.
And, and right before that, I saw other people in a Cal Poly sweater. So yeah, I turn around and there she is. And then she was really excited. She like hit the table and like screamed. I'm like, oh, whoa, calm down. And then she like gave me like a hug. I kind of gave her like a half hug, whatever. And then she like, so she knew about my girlfriend too. Like, nothing shady here,
Right,
right?
right.
But she knew that the girlfriend was a little crazy. And listen, I don't call ex-girlfriends crazy. This is the only one I call that. She's never gonna listen to this, so whatever. So, and so then she's like points it out. I'm like, no, like, like she's kind of weird and all that stuff. And I played it down. I was an ass. That was a jerk move, 100%. And so she's like, oh, okay, whatever, nice seeing you. And then she goes and like, there's no way my girlfriend didn't see, but like, I just like in my mind, I was like, she didn't see. And then like we walk out, I texted Susan. I was like, hey, you know what? That was a jerk move.
Mhm.
Like, we're friends, and I just like kind of treated you like crap. Like, I'm blaming it on her, and yeah, it is, but like, that's my fault. Like, I'm sorry. And then like we go home, and my girlfriend like at her house, she's like, oh, I saw that, blah blah blah. Who is that? Are you cheating on? I'm like, no, you told me this whole thing. Like, this was like, this whole operation was your idea. And she's just like, just mad, like saying all these things. I'm like, no. She's like, how many other friends? I'm like, dude, I have like 2 friends who are girls at Cal Poly, or like 3 max, and like the rest are dudes, and I know them because of the dudes. Like, I met Susan because of Justin, and then there was, what was her name? It was like a fun Hanny. I like hung out.
Hanny?
Yeah, she was cool. But like, I would hang out with my friend Jeremy and Kevin, and then they're like, oh, this is Hanny, like, stuff like that. It's college.
Mhm.
And then like, mad, making me feel bad about myself. Well, I was an idiot, and she was trying to break up with me, and I should have let it happen, and I didn't. And this was like 2013, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just should have let that happen, and I didn't, because I was like, you get in that weird mentality, like, oh, when's the next time I'm gonna find a girlfriend?
Mhm.
Even though like that was terrible. I know we're getting into like relationship stuff, but like, should have let it happen, and I didn't. And Susan never talked to me again.
Awesome. Jesus, man.
Yeah, there's more to that, but not here. But yeah, so my bad. Sorry, Susan. I was an idiot. Sorry to previous me who stayed in that relationship. But everything's not everything. But
We learn.
we learned.
Mhm.
I know what's wrong, and now like, I have all those blue milk pictures with guys, girls, whoever. Everything's on my Instagram. So whoever meets me, I'm like, listen, if they're on my Instagram, we're friends. And it's just going to be that way.
Right.
And if you're cool with it, well, you have to be cool with it. Because she's never going to listen to this because she doesn't like Disneyland. But I'll never forget. I know, unrelated, but I was at Cal Poly first quarter with my friend Ariana. We're like, we would carpool, like best friends, that kind of thing. And I was like, I don't even know why I said this, but I told her, like, no, like whoever I date like has to be cool with us being friends. Well, like 3 months later,
Oh God, I know where this is going.
yeah, and she wasn't cool with it, and she hated her just because of her name or whatever. And then, I was kind of a jerk, and we like drifted apart a little bit. We're still friends, like we went to New York and all that kind of stuff, but like not as good friends as we could have been. And then one day, I'm like, dude, I just remembered we were behind Panda, and I told you this, and I was a hypocrite. So like, I remember everything. Like,
Mhm.
damn, I was a jerk, but trying to make amends with everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Live and learn.
Yeah, but now Innoventions is gone, and
And we have Star Wars launch bay there.
just level it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one doesn't have a happy ending, but we won't end on it. So let's go with you now.
This one's pretty bad too, actually. And that's me forcing people to get on certain rides. And that ride, I actually told the story a couple weeks ago, but that ride's either Tower of Terror or Guardians.
Yeah,
So for some reason, though, that feeling of dropping just like gets people. They do not like it. You know what I
the
mean?
anticipation of it is the worst.
Yeah.
While you're doing it, unless you're your mom who passes out,
Yeah.
it's usually fine.
So I told the story with my mom a few weeks ago. I actually, Sos, my best friend, who I probably should have been on this episode because that was a pretty bad experience.
He's gonna have his own episode.
Yeah, he doesn't like rides, and he's okay with Disneyland, but doesn't really like rides. And him and his ex at the time, we were like, well,
Girlfriend at the time.
girlfriend
Ex
at the time.
now.
Yeah. We were both like, we'll get you on Tower of Terror. It's not a big deal, blah blah blah.
The biggest deal.
It is the biggest deal at Disneyland. And he's like, he took it. He was like, I'll do it, no problem, right? Conquering his fears, doing everything, doing the most. And he was like, but before, I'm gonna take one of her anxiety pills.
Oh no.
Yeah. So to help with his own anxiety about
Why
the
didn't he
ride.
just get a beer?
Yeah, he doesn't really like beer, but
Whatever.
yeah, but he took the pill, and he had the worst time I've ever seen, other than my mom, of course, on Tower of Terror. Like literally, the picture is him clutched in his ex-girlfriend's arms. You know what I mean? Just like, don't let me go, kind of thing. So I think it's just one of, and we'll talk about it on the episode that he comes on. It's just one of those fears that you just can't get over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just got to accept it. So he tried. I give it to him 100%. He tried to get on it, and he did get on it, and it just wasn't it.
Yeah, that sucks. Because usually once you're on, you're like, okay, you know what? That wasn't scary.
Exactly.
But sometimes.
I mean, when I was 12 and I had never been, I was like a huge scaredy cat as a kid. Did not like any rides. And my dad was like, I'm taking you to Six Flags.
Whoa.
And I was like,
Rip the Band-Aid off.
yeah.
Dude.
I'm like, okay. You know the right Tatsu?
The one I didn't go on, yes.
I went on Tatsu first.
Jeez.
And
You're just hanging there, right?
yeah,
Like
you're just hanging.
flying. Yeah.
And after that, I've never been scared of rides.
Yeah, I mean, I already told that California Screaming story. Shout out to my Uncle David.
Yeah.
Who was just like, dude, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say dude. But
And
just get
now
on.
my mindset on rides is there are so many people that come through here, each and every single day. The chances of something happening to me are like less than 0.1%.
I mean, you drove there, man. So
exactly. Exactly.
look, something could happen because, all it takes is one time.
Mhm.
But you can't live life in fear.
And that's my opinion on almost any kind of like adventurous thing, like zip lining or anything that where there's like bungee jumping either, or any kind of scary thing like that. What are the chances of something happening to me? Next to nothing. So, I mean, after watching Tiger King though, zip lining, did you see Tiger King?
No.
Okay, there's a guy who doesn't have any legs,
Hmm.
and they're like, "Wow, so what happened? Did the tigers bite it off?" He's like, "No, zip lining accident." He fell hundreds of feet on a zip line and broke both of his legs off.
Where was he ziplining?
I have no idea.
Like, if you say Bolivia, I'm going to be like, oh,
Yeah,
I've seen those videos.
I've ziplined in St. Martin in the Bahamas.
I would probably only zipline in Hawaii. And, like, I've ziplined at camps and stuff.
Yeah,
But those are, like, you know,
it could be scary.
yeah.
I've done it.
It depends on who's running it, you know? A Christian camp, I'm not even Christian, but Christian camp, those weirdos who live there, they take great pride in their
Right.
zip line. So,
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my last story. And like I was saying at the top of the episode, like I don't think there's a lot of bad experiences.
yeah, I feel like we'd remember.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we've had, like, lame dates,
Yeah.
but nothing that's, like, traumatizing
Right.
besides these, you know? Like,
Yeah, and I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I've had a pass for the past 10 years. And if I can only really come up with like 5, that's pretty good.
yeah, I mean, you're in a good mood when you go. You usually go with people you like,
Mhm.
you know? So, it's usually just, like, something weird happens.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Like, your phone doesn't get a text and suddenly it's the end of the world. So I'm going to tell a story about 90s night. Hello, Christine. I know you're listening. I love you, but I'm sorry that I'm going to tell this story.
Let's hear it.
So Christine and I went to 90s night. We got our cute, what are those fanny packs that they gave us? And
She still
dressed
uses,
up.
which I saw when she came last
Yeah,
week.
she was wearing it last week.
Yeah.
It's a great fanny pack. So we don't really meet characters, but she loves Esmeralda. We were even going to do like a Disney bound thing, but we just ended up not doing it probably because of me. But
Mhm.
I don't know if she would have pulled together the outfit. I'm just going to throw shade.
Yeah.
So
Esmeralda?
what's wrong with Esmeralda?
She should have been with Quasimodo.
No,
And
no,
she
it's
chooses the good looking
no,
guy.
you know
That's all I'm
what?
saying.
No, This is a very important lesson on how being friends with a girl does not entitle you to her romantic love.
You know what? That's the whole theme of the episode.
Huh?
No, I don't know.
But that is it. Look, all you nice guys TM out there, just because you're nice doesn't mean anyone owes you anything. Be nice to be nice.
Yeah,
And
I like that.
that's it. You know, we've all been there probably.
Still, Quasimodo should have been.
No, he was a good friend. You know, be a good friend to be a good friend.
Yeah.
And if something happens, it happens. But don't expect anything. All right. So that's my.
Hot take of the week.
It's not a hot take. That is the good take.
The good take of the week.
That is the good takeaway. Hot takeaway.
There you go.
I don't know. So 90s night, going good, whatever. And so we get in line to meet Esmeralda. I'm like, yeah, for sure, I'll do this. Like, it's not like we're here to get on rides and stuff, but we're here to enjoy the cool time, right?
Mhm.
And so we get in line for Esmeralda, and there's this group of like 5 people in front of us. This guy in front of us was obsessed with Esmeralda. Obsessed.
Mhm.
He had tattoos of her. He was kind of dressed like her, not like a costume, but like Disney bounding, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was so excited, like jittery and whatever. And he's probably a little older than us too. But he was talking to us, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so excited." Oh, and he was telling Christine like, "Oh, you love her too. Like, I'm so glad you get to meet her too." All this stuff, and we're in line for like 40 minutes. So these guys go up, right? So they go up. They all take pictures. They take like individual pictures. The guy goes back for like a second round of pictures, and they're like trying to get him away. And this guy wants us to go, right? He took so long that they went on their break.
Shut up. Ah, that's rough, man.
And we're next, right?
yeah.
And Christine was just mad. And I was mad too.
Yeah.
And like she started crying.
Jesus.
But no, I'm not gonna make her look bad because I actually like felt for her. So she started crying, but like kind of like tearing up, not
Mhm.
crying.
Just disappointed.
But then like she almost felt worse that she was crying and then cried about that. Like, I feel like an idiot for like even
Yeah.
being sad about this. Like, and I'm like, oh man, like that sucks. Like, it's okay. And I'm like, I like had to like go in the dad mode. I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't want this to be bad, and like we go sit down. I'm like, look, like it sucks. Like, it's totally their fault. Like, and she's like, oh, I hate that I'm crying. I'm like, no, look, it's fine. Like, it just happened. Sometimes you just like emotionally, like not snap, but like, something just puts you over the edge. Like,
it triggers you.
yeah, or like, if someone's like mad at you, you just kind of like, sometimes you just can't take it, And so she wasn't like bawling or anything. She was just like, sniffles and tears and stuff. And I'm like, look, it's going to be okay. Like, let's go get like that disgusting like basket of fried food. Because what is the 90s,
Yeah.
So it was like, she's like, okay, like just give me a second. So we just like sat down, just like, this is on Big Thunder Trail before Galaxy's Edge opened. So it was like where that little red wagon thing is.
Right.
So we go sit at that bench, and then she's like, okay, all right, let's go. So we get up, we go get the food, and then like there was just like this weird vibe the rest of the night, and it's not her fault because I felt weird too, where it was like, I don't know, almost like we expected more out of a 90s night, where it was like, this was just like characters, and there was like cool DJs and music, but like the decor is whatever. And like, yeah, it was cool. Powerline was there, and like the fireworks show was cool, but it was like, I feel like I had a random sense of melancholy come over me. I don't know why. I think it was like, I don't know, maybe I didn't expect anything, but maybe I expected to like enjoy it more. And again, promise, not related to this Esmeralda thing, but like, even the food was whatever, but this was like when they were figuring out what was going on with After Dark events.
Right.
So like I think it was like the third one. So
They've tuned it up since then.
yeah, and so it was a good night, but it was just like, man, it was just weird. Like, it was a weird vibe there, and we were good, we were talking and whatever, but like I will say, though, like one really like positive thing is I think that was the first time we got on the carousel at night. She was like, hey, I want to get on the carousel. I'm like, that's a good idea. We've never done that. And it was just like, it's the picture I posted in like the episode 2 Instagram thing. And I'm like, this is really nice. Like, we should end the nights like this. Like, just chill, just go, take it easy. And so that was like the positive little ending to that. And she was like, it was maybe 11:30 and this thing went to 1:30. She's like, do you want to just like go home? And I'm like, I kind of do. Like, we had an okay time. And then we went to the Mickey Floral and took that picture, and we
That was it.
drove here, and then she drove home, and yeah, it was just weird,
Yeah.
And
So it
like,
just kind of like left a bad taste in your mouth the rest of the night.
I don't. It didn't cause anything, but it just kind of like exposed the night for like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and I think she sees it more positively than me. Like, sorry
So-
I had to tell the story, but it was just like a weird.
So like once they go on the break, they just
Another character comes out.
who was the other character?
Some like lame character, like the court jester, if not even that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
From
It was-
Hunchback.
Actually, no, it was like was there a friar in it or something? It wasn't Frollo though,
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was him, cool, but it was no Esmeralda and Charming guy. I don't know what his name was. And it wasn't Quasimodo, so it was just like we just left.
Do they have a Quasimodo character?
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't think
that'd
so.
be- that'd be
I
fun.
feel like that's got to be. See, you know what? They probably don't, because Esmeralda and what is that dude's name?
I don't know.
Hold on.
My computer died, so
Oh, because my iPad's sucking battery from it. Esmeralda and
Quasimodo.
hold on. Let's see. Let's just see Hunchback. What's this dude's name? We're doing this live.
The gold guy.
Like gold Wikipedia. He's got like a weird name. Okay, now we're gonna have to cut some of this out.
Oh,
Phoebus.
Phoebus.
Captain Phoebus. We're not cutting this out.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's like Feebas from Pokemon, like the most hated Pokemon.
Oh, he's cool.
Feebas. That turns into melodic.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, them two. So they're face characters.
Mm-hmm.
Quasimodo can't be a face character.
No.
So I don't think you can mix the two. I think it's too weird.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I did have a good 90s night. It was just like the night was strange anyway,
Mhm.
because it was like it's a bunch of people kind of our age, but they seem like a little younger. I'm like, you're not 90s.
Yeah, you don't know.
And there were like a lot of Zoomers there, and it was weird. It was like, dude, you know what was weird? It was kind of like grad night, because everyone's your age. There were no kids and there were no old people.
Really? No old people. I'm surprised.
What do old people care about the 90s? They care about the 80s.
Yeah. Like Disney Renaissance, like a lot of it's in the 90s.
Yeah, and then there was no like Gen Xers. Gen X, you're not old people if you're listening. Don't worry. They're just like, they don't care about the 90s at all.
Yeah.
They're like 80s, and they didn't grow up. They kind of grew up 90s, but 90s are not. Look, Seinfeld's cool.
Yeah.
Just like kinda, but like, what, overalls and like
Yeah.
muted 80s colors? Like seafoam green and vaporwave. Like, what?
Poor people who grew up in the 80s, you know what I mean? They have Black Cauldron. And
Yeah,
like,
Disney, but like, dude, the
But in
80s had
general.
better music. Blondie, dude.
yeah,
Just like, that's all I gotta say.
yeah,
90s music, we got grunge. Heck yeah.
I guess.
Like Nirvana and all that.
Yeah.
But like,
Smashing Pumpkins. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, good album.
Yeah, I like My Night, Melancholy
Yeah.
and Infinite Sadness.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was just like a strange night. But like, I felt really bad. Like I really wanted her to meet Esmeralda, especially because we never do the character thing, and like I think she was even going to talk to them. I don't know, but hey, no shame in crying at all. I'm not shaming you. It's just like, hey, sometimes bad things happen at Disney, and screw that guy.
Screw that guy.
Screw that guy. Like what an, I can't say any bad words on it.
Yeah.
What a jerk. Like I can't believe it. Like you're excited, but like, dude, come on. You took pictures, you talked to her, and you just get out of there.
Mhm.
Especially because you knew us.
I'm surprised there's no like obvious time limit
There is like because they're not gonna pull you away, but they were
Right.
about to. And even before that,
that's bad if they're gonna do
dude, even before that guy got there, the cast member was like, hey, they might go soon, but they'll be back, but another character will be here. And the guy, he was like, oh man, I'm so worried. And we were like, no, dude, we're both gonna meet him. He's like, yeah, I hope we both
that.
get to.
Wow.
He was liar.
Wow.
Liar and a scoundrel. So forget you, weird bald dude who was way too into Esmeralda. Forget you. But 90s night was all that and a bag of chips. So
Cool.
yeah. So let's get into your right first.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't have any. I have a shout out though.
go ahead.
Shout out to that new website that I sent you,
Oh,
like the redone website of
Sounds of
Sounds of
Disneyland?
Disney. I think it's sounds of Disneyland.com, right?
Probably.
Sounds something like that. Sounds of Disney.com. Really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah. I used
Nice
to.
graphics. I think a guy who I used to work with at Apple worked on it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've listened to like the Grizzly Peak Airfield loop, but that was on there's his channel on YouTube, Super Hot Larry. I don't know.
All right.
He posts some good stuff, but I assume it's all on Sounds of Disneyland right now. So sorry, Larry.
It's just a very nice UI that they made. Like
Yeah, it used to be trash because
Yeah.
you sent it to me. I'm like, well, I'm gonna click on this. I'm not gonna be a jerk. Like I already know.
Mhm.
And I click on it. I'm like, oh, hey, look at this. So I gotta listen to that at work.
Yeah.
So just like a little shout out to my brother who like his ears perked up at the banter talk, and he was like,
Too hot to handle.
well, yeah, he was like, oh yeah, I heard it on Love Island, which like Too Hot to Handle just copied.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and he was like, yeah, it's a real British thing. I'm like, he's like, no, in that context is what I meant. I'm like, oh, okay.
I was just watching the it was so bad I had to turn it off. They had like a reunion episode for Too Hot to Handle,
Ugh.
and I was watching it last night because it was like it's new or whatever, and they started talking about banter. And
Again?
after they talked about banter, I told Brandy like, "You wanna just turn this off?" She's like, "Yeah." So we stopped watching like 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Once the guy, like the main couple on there, once he proposed to his girlfriend on the reunion episode with the ring pop, I said, "I'm good." I'm good. It was bad.
Yeah. If you're mad that got spoiled for you, why are you mad?
Yeah.
Watch what you're gonna watch.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but come on, who cares?
Yeah.
This isn't too much of a. It's not a you're right, but yeah. So we had that Zoom call last week.
Mhm.
So RJ, you may be wondering, where was my invite? Well, these geniuses invited you on this group DM
On
in
Instagram.
Instagram, and afterwards, like Rainwater specifically said, "Hey, does RJ use Instagram?" Like, so that's why he wasn't. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
he doesn't use it. He just has that old account, but he doesn't even check it.
What's
You don't have the app installed. I
What's
think.
funny too is that when Gene made the group, I looked to see who was on there. I'm like, oh, I specifically looked for RJ. He was on there, and I was like, okay, cool. RJ knows, but he didn't know.
Yeah. And he listens I mention him every week, I think.
Yeah.
And even last week, I just like shouted him out because
Mhm.
his name's got to get in every week.
Yeah.
And so sorry, dude, but it's okay. You know, like it was just like a fun little thing.
Mhm.
And I don't think I feel like there was a correction that I forgot, but it must not have been that important.
Mm-mm.
So
I think we're good.
yeah. So, okay, let's see so our like closing segment, we don't write it down. It's kind of like off the cuff. We do like something in the future or a favorite thing or whatever. What's like your nightmare scenario at Disneyland? What would you be afraid of happening?
After all this talk about relationships and everything, just getting into a fight with my girlfriend at Disneyland does not sound fun. Like just the idea, like I mean, we'll fight periodically like any other couple. You know what I mean?
I think as long as it's not insane, it's good because that means you're not keeping everything in,
Exactly.
and you're not
It's
going to
healthy.
you're not going to resent each other. As long as you're not like nitpicking at everything and fighting all the time. Like people are like, oh, we never argue. I'm like, you guys are holding some stuff in.
Right.
Let it out. Don't yell at each other. Just hash it out sometimes. But anyways,
I just don't want that to happen at Disneyland.
so it's never happened?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, lucky you. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been good past year.
No, I mean, never happened before.
Uh,
I know. Shouldn't talk about exes and stuff, but
I'm thinking.
you don't have to tell a story. Just
No, I know. I'm sure it's happened at one point, but I don't think so. Not like anything that's memorable. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I think all of mine were outside of the berm. Is what I'll say. Yeah.
The berm.
You know what the berm is?
No.
Okay, so you know, like Disneyland, you can't see outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can at Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
But those hotels are so far and so tall that you see. So Walt didn't want anyone. He wanted you to feel like you're in
Like
Disneyland.
you're immersed. Yeah.
So he put a 20-foot tall mound of dirt and planted trees on top of it
Around Disney.
around Disneyland. That is the berm.
Oh.
That's
okay.
why. So that's why you go in the haunted stretching room. That's why pirates. You're going under the berm.
Mm.
So if you can tell it's there, but if you walk in on the right side of Main Street, which you mostly do, right, and there's the bathrooms there, look beyond the gate, you'll see it's just a hill with trees on it.
Wow.
It's just like a massive, you're like,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. So that's what it is.
Cool.
So yeah, I think it's always been outside the berm. It was like, at Downtown Disney, the Jazz Kitchen thing, or like afterwards, that
Yeah.
whole, the intervention story. So, yeah, I don't want that to happen again. I think, yeah, one of the worst nightmares would be like an actual like verbal argument inside
Ooh,
Disneyland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
In all honesty, even if it's not with a significant other, just with somebody else, like having a fight with somebody is not.
Oh, yeah, someone brought this up where like it was like two families, not the Toontown fight.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
This was like a shouting match, and I won't say anything about that, but like, man, that sounds
horrible,
dude. Like the in public stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like, even if you're in the wrong, it's like, dude, don't do this here because everyone's gonna look bad, and it's
Yeah.
not even like, oh, you're making me look bad. Like that's crap too. That's like a crap take, but it's like, don't ruin people's experiences. Like you can yell at me all you want, but let's go somewhere else.
It's gonna sound really pretentious and like really frou-frou about us being like really big Disney fanatics, but you can tell like the kind of people that go to the different parks. Like I've seen countless verbal arguments at Knott's Berry Farm. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I mean, that just might be like, I don't know. I don't want to
Don't
sound
do it.
bad. Yeah, yeah. But Universal's less, and then Disney, I haven't seen any.
Because
So-
you got to be a giant dork
Yeah,
to really like Disneyland. Because
Yeah.
there aren't that many thrills. And look, man, you do what makes you happy, but we're all kind of weird flower children at Disneyland. Like there's something in you, and that's why we go to the park. So yeah, I think it's got to be either a verbal argument, another like
or a physical argument or physical altercation. You know what I mean?
I feel like I would just run.
Yeah,
You can't even stop them. Just run because you're gonna look like you're fighting.
Yeah,
Like I would, like I don't know, but I would never. Oh, I almost had to. I thought I was gonna have to break up a fight.
at Disneyland.
I have like this. My uncle told me like, do not get involved in fights
Mhm.
because people turn on you. But it was like, so there's some guy he was drunk, but he wasn't belligerent. I think he just threw a dumb comment,
Yeah,
and this dude got all macho about his like, oh, my family's here, whatever, and he keeps getting in the dude's face. And this guy's wife, and this guy's old, not
Mhm.
old. I'm sorry, but he's like in his 60s. He's just being dumb. And this other guy who's like max 40 is like just get in this dude's face, and the wife just like puts her hand up. She's like, hey, like come on, just stop. And he's like, no, don't touch me, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just standing there, and I'm like holding a drink too. I'm like, it's food and wine. Don't do this to me right now. and the lady's like, look, just go. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's being dumb. And the guy is like, he's like, you did that in front of my family. And I'm just like, I wasn't gonna hit anyone. I was just like, but if these, I would have to pull someone away because I don't want it to turn into a thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even though I'm like, don't get involved. And I'm not Mr. Macho. I'm gonna get into a fight, But it was like, not here, guys. And then the guy just eventually wandered off to his family. It's like, dude, don't do that in front of your kids either. What kind of
Yeah.
example are you setting?
Yeah,
So-
that's bad. That's
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, quick. Two more kind of correction things. Forgot to talk about Rita's margaritas.
Mhm.
Dude, get
In
the
DCA.
Grand. It's got the double shot of margarita.
Hey,
Eat it with a spoon because otherwise, like, it just turns into ice. With
Yeah.
that, there's a salted rim though. Thing's delicious. Hits good, and you're like a good buzz.
Mhm.
You're not gonna get rowdy or dizzy or anything. It's just like chilling, and it's super good, like lime and whatever. And Christine, you ruined my exit last week. She said, have a magical day. I don't know what she said,
Yeah.
but the ending is I kind of like point. I say like, thanks for listening. Rain says like, thank you guys or whatever. And then I do like the Mickey, like, see ya real soon.
Mhm.
Bye. So I said, see ya real soon. And then Christine came in with something and I was like in shock. And then I just throw out the bye. I'm like, dude, every episode ends the same. And it doesn't.
it's a podcast thing where you got to get the habits going.
Well, yeah, and I think people like that. I think
Mhm.
people expect like the from behind the yellow line. This is Trammin episode 10, which took me 4 or 5 tries because I just forgot. And we do this every week, and except like that first episode, I think that was just like a hello. I don't know. We came up with that from behind the yellow, like the yellow line. That's our thing, man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a very solid exit. Thanks,
Oh God, now I'm nervous.
No, you just say thanks, guys, or whatever.
Oh yeah. All right.
So thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you guys.
See you real soon.